This is my favorite monument in this cemetery. It is a white bronze monument, and it's affectionately called a zinke. And it's because white bronze monuments are made of 99% zinc. Things about it that's kind of interesting is that they have these little bolts here, and these panels would come out, you know, and then they could be replaced if you, let's say somebody died in your family and you want to add them to this, you know. They could take this, send it back to the company, and then they would redo it.
Cemeteries can be read. Each stone a contribution to the narrative of the town.
So this is my favorite monument in the cemetery. This is the Lee Monument. Hadessa and Henry Lee. So we have a sandstone base down here, probably local sandstone from Amherst. These two pieces are marble. So these are easy to work. You can make fancy shapes with them. We see these nice dowel shapes up the side. We see this nice carving, these nice roundels on it. And then we have this granite column, and on the top is marble again that's worked.
I don't really have any more questions unless, is there anything else?
No, I just want you to admire the beauty of this stone.
At the Potter's Field, how do we remember? In the rest of the cemetery, we receive meaning from stones. Their stoniness tells us about the sensibilities of a person and the time in which they lived.
The funeral home has been here 80 years. My grandfather, Garnered Cowling, started the business. Then my father took over, Gary Cowling, the second generation, and then I started in the business in the 90s, and I'm the last sole survivor of the funeral home. It ends with me. And what my job is, what I want to do when they leave is to let them know that Tad was there to help me get through this hard time. For that family to walk out of here and say thank you, I really appreciate it, and that's for me, that's love and support to that family. And that's my calling. I really do that. I've been doing it for a long time, and that's what I thrive on, is to help that family through that.
Engravings and epitaphs, names and death dates let us see an individual, someone to whom we can pay our respects. A person dies and a financial investment is made. The cemetery expands, vertically, horizontally, narratively.
Okay. This is the house where I grew up that is now named Zavodsky House here at Westwood Cemetery. My dad was the sexton of the cemetery. He was sexton here at the cemetery for over 50 years. Having this area, these woods, green spaces, the pond in the back where we had adventures, was a great place to play. My dad welcomed all the children in the neighborhood to play, but he always said, just be respectful of the stones and don't break anything.
One cannot be immortalized without a referent. Without money, without family, without an address, an individual cannot participate in the production of the town's public memory.
The first thing you may think about in the history of Pottersfield is it's a place for the burial of the unknown. I've even heard people use the term unloved, which is just so harsh. People that were too poor to be paid for a proper burial, they're being thrown into these plots without anyone to really be able to love them.
So we're at the Huesner stone. This stone is, the material in this stone is a gabbro. It's an igneous rock. Older stones tend to have this sort of upright look to them. They're very sort of formal and upright. The newer stones are flatter. We don't get this. And I think it's a matter of cost, and I think it's a matter of choice, because the choices in the cemetery are made with social pressures. This stone sort of fell out of favor for a while until they put up the Vietnam Vets Memorial in Washington, D.C. This is the same stone. And so people began seeing this stone and began asking for it at their gravesite. This stone is very resistant to weathering. It'll be here until the next ice age.
A gravestone marks the exchange between an individual, the family, and a public.
How I meet with my families when we're doing headstones is I basically have this out. It's what we call our portrait book. There's all different styles of stones. People are looking at them going, oh my God, I know this person, I know this person. These are the granites that they use. These two stones here are from the Rock of Ages quarries. These are what we call the Berry Gray and the Morning Rose. These stones come from different countries. This is what we call the Black Impala. Has a little whiteness to it, little specks. And this is what we call the Zimbabwe black. This is your jet black, where you can actually do pictures and portraits of people back here. So you can see this young boy here was killed in a car accident, but they had his car there and they have him in the picture. So that's really a neat thing.
One of the things that the Friends group does is clean stones. The methods that we use, they use on the White House, the Lincoln Memorial, all those kinds of things. What we're doing right at this spot is to show you what can go wrong when you clean a stone the wrong way. So we have two stones. They were identical at one time. This stone has been cleaned at least once, probably multiple times with bleach. And it takes it and it just makes it flake apart. All of the stones here in this section and in most other sections were gray to black in color. All the white stones, all the marble stones.
Okay, this is the Lincoln plot, and it's covered. It has fenced in by a wrought iron fence, which was really popular during the Victorian period. Has a little fence here. Their name is even here, Lincoln. This is the parents of the Lincolns, and this is their sons. The Friends of Westwood this past summer actually had these two columns fixed, and you can see the repair marks on both of them, but you know, they were broken and they were falling down. They both were soldiers. This one in particular was definitely in the Civil War. And I'm pretty sure he was in the Civil War too, but what's interesting about this is that, you know, the class of Oberlin graduating class actually bought this monument for him.
At some point, Oberlin fully recognized that it was a bit of segregation. They kind of did away with having a designated area for Potter's Field. So now, even if you cannot afford to have a burial, working with Oberlin and a number of organizations, they'll bury you throughout the cemetery. So there's not one specific area that's known as this is the area for Pottersfield or where poor people are being buried.
In the Potter's Field, we see only absence and ethics. Where should I focus my camera? The logic of the cemetery disarms our ability to memorialize those who are socially condemned. The Potter's Field is the presence of absence. It tells us whom we can and cannot remember. There is no grave to clean, no name to cast our eyes upon, no stone which prevents our feet from walking atop the bodies buried here. How to communicate a life outside of this commemorative language.